Welcome to the first episode of Just Another Movie Review, where today we are just going to be another channel that reviews Lilo and Stitch. Everybody's favorite movie about a tiny rambunctious alien who doesn't want to do anything that anyone else wants him to do, and he discovers family. End of the review. But nah, we're good. We're actually gonna review this movie step by step. If you missed the announcement earlier, this is the new version of 10-minute review. I'm only gonna say it this one time before I'm never gonna say it again, because it really doesn't even matter. We start this film with the oldest looking starfish alien accusing Jumba of crimes that he most definitely committed. As we see Jumba vehemently denying the fact that he created life, playing God like the giant space monster he is. They immediately show him his creation. He immediately changes face and laughs in their face about his creation, as his creation immediately curses at the Galactic Alliance for even thinking about attempting peace. How dare they? Do they not know that he is the most evil creation in all the lands and can only be bested by an alien who's really good at making sandwiches? And as they take Stitch away for transport after sending Jumba to prison, I really have to wonder one thing. If Stitch is bulletproof, how are we sticking him with a needle to take his blood out? If bullets can't even penetrate his skin, how can some generic needle get in there? Sounds like a little minor loophole to me, and I love pointing those out. And we see Stitch break out as quickly as they captured him, using the power of his own spit, and it shows the ineffectiveness of the space organization and their targeting systems, that it cannot recognize the difference between spit and a living body. It's really dumb that they devoted the security of this intensely powerful creature to spit cannons and a stupid guy who wants to play cards instead of doing his job. And as Stitch fights a whole bunch of space cops in his nice red spaceship, he loses, and then he engages his hyperdrive and lands on Earth. And now the Galactic Federation is like, what is an Earth? So they call the leading expert in Earth, Pleakley. I like Pleakley. Pleakley is fun, and immediately informs them that Earth is a wildlife preserve, because of course it is. We're nothing but a bunch of big dumb animals on a stupid blue planet that can't even figure out space travel. So of course the space traveling alien overlords were nothing but gazelles in the cosmic stream of space-time, and we deserve to be protected. But look at me thinking that we humans deserve to be protected, when it's actually the real dominant species on the planet that deserves to be protected: mosquitoes. And to resolve the issue of 626 being on Earth, they send Pleakley and Jumba, an unlikely duo, to the state of Hawaii, the state surrounded by water. And it's very weird to me that water is the weakness of 626. Is water not a resource that Jumba thought about? Is water just that rare in the universe, like statistically? Would that be much of a problem if they just got squirt guns to deal with Stitch? Why'd they spend all those resources on the stupid spit cannon when they could have just got a pool, like a little above ground pool, like some trailer trash, put Stitch in there with a little bit of baby floaty on him so he's not drowning? Why didn't they just do that? That would work just as good as the stupid spit cannons. And as we see Lilo, our main character, alongside 626, as she's swimming by herself, unattended, abandoned, if you would, by the responsible parental figure. Like, that's what you do with 3, 4, 5, however old this child is. Just let them swim in the ocean, unattended. As she then rushes past the most unfortunate man in the history of cartoons, outside of the cabbage salesman from Avatar, as he just has a cone of mint chocolate chip ice cream that he wants to eat so bad. And throughout multiple movies, a TV series, not once has he been able to eat this mint chocolate chip ice cream. This man needs to start getting bowls of ice cream because he's too irresponsible to be allowed to have cones. And then we see Lilo is late for her dancing practice because she was feeding Pudge the fish, who loves peanut butter sandwiches and controls the weather. But her dummy head sister wanted her to feed the fish tuna. You know what tuna is, right? It's fish. And she gets so angry at the fact that anyone questions her that she beats the crap out of Myrtle. Because you gotta stand up for what you believe in this world. And if anyone tells you different, that your beliefs are wrong, don't punch them in the face, because you're not 5 years old. You're a grown man, Dale. Stop what you're doing. And we see that Lilo has locked herself in the room and is listening to Heartbreak Hotel by Elvis. Good song, good taste in music. As Nani's trying to make her way to the house and break in, as the social worker shows up, Mr. Cobra Bubbles, who has definitely killed a man. 100%, no questions, has definitely done it, will definitely do it again, and is definitely not just a social worker, but it's also probably an alien hunter or something of that sort. As he asks Lilo some basic questions that end up with Lilo talking about how Nani beats her with bricks and a pillowcase. And then Cobra Bubbles flexes his strength by just urging the door open. And Nani and Lilo have a little fight, because of course they make up afterwards, because it's a movie, and they won't have any long-lasting family grudges based on events like this. That's not how families work. Every family loves each other very, very much and does not have any grudges towards any other sibling, parent, grandparent, niece, nephew. Everything's just hunky-dory, and everyone has a fantastic time 24/7, because every family is just the picture perfect, quintessential American 1950s household, right? And as Nani and Lilo are having a wonderful conversation and they work their way back together, I'd like to take this time to remind you that rabbits are terrible. There is nothing good about a rabbit. You may think they are adorable, but they're not as adorable as you may think. The only thing that they're good for is the fact that they are a good source of protein. And you should eat every rabbit that you see, as that is their only benefit. I do not like rabbits. I think rabbits are awful. And the fact that Lilo understands that rabbits are also terrible and would be a terrible replacement for her is just a check on how smart this child is. Correct decision, Lilo. Rabbits are terrible. Oh, and this is the moment where Stitch crashes onto the planet. And after threatening a bullfrog, the bullfrog uses his natural voodoo magic to have Stitch hit by 3 trucks. And then he's knocked out by 3 trucks. Supposedly indestructible being knocked out by 3 trucks. Garbage monster. Doesn't even follow its own rules. And now Stitch wakes up in a dog pound, about to be adopted by Lilo after dodging like 7 plasma shots. Really impressive. And as Lilo adopts Stitch because Stitch can talk and he's blue and oblong. And Nani is worried about the dog, the shelter owner is worried about the dog, I am worried about the dog, you are worried about the dog. If this was a real life situation, nobody, and I mean nobody, would have adopted the sickly blue koala looking dog. And if you would, you're either a liar or a bad parent. Also, shout out to the free kitten sign spelled wrong in the background of the adoption scene. Every free kitten you adopt from this adoption center, you get a free pair of kitten mittens, free of charge. Meow. And after Jumba tries to kill Stitch and gets the environmental lecture from Pleakley, we see that Nani has to go to work, and Stitch really likes movies. But did anybody catch the name of the Chinese food restaurant? Because I did. Can you guess the name of the Chinese food restaurant? I bet you can't. And I bet you're waiting for me to give you the answer, but I'm not going to give you the answer, or am I? It's Mulan Walk. They named it Mulan Walk. And we see Lilo and Stitch enjoying their day as they go to the luau where Nani works. And we see the best character in this movie, David. David's such a good and wholesome dude. He cares so much about Nani and their family. And we see Stitch eat both slices of cake and then spit one of them out in one solid piece. And when he takes that cake, he shows some extremely impressive tongue work when he spits that back out. And then we see David get rejected by Nani, and then they try to lure Stitch off with some suspicious green meat. And after Stitch loses his mind and gets Nani fired from the luau, Nani tries to get rid of the little bugger but can't, because Ohana means family, and family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten. And after that, I'm pretty sure their parents are dead, because there's no way they're not dead. It wouldn't mean half as much to both of them if they weren't dead, and that's a little sad. Then see Stitch be a little bit of a monster as he creates a scale model of San Francisco to destroy the scale model of San Francisco, raid the fridge for a soda in the middle of the night, while Nani's talking to David about how he's such an annoying garbage pet that causes nothing but problems. And then we see him listen to the Ugly Duckling story, which fits Stitch's situation 100% as he starts calming down and thinking about life and stuff and how it would feel if you had no memory, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. They listen to Elvis. That's the best part here. Elvis is king. Long live Elvis. Everyone should strive to die like Elvis did, dying on the toilet. And as Lilo shows Stitch's hidden talent, the fact that he's a record player that requires a record player. I noticed that there's a Mulan 2 poster in the background of Nani's room, and I wonder why there's so much Mulan imagery in this film. And after a very rudimentary Google search, Lilo and Stitch came out in 2002, Mulan 2 came out in 2004, and I think they were trying to subliminally put in your mind that you needed to watch Mulan 2 because it was probably in the start of the production when this movie came out, and your mind is being controlled every time you watch a Disney film. Please watch more Disney films. I'm kind of scared of Disney because they can block my videos so easily. Disney, please don't block my video. I love you. And after Cobra Bubbles shows up and tells Stitch to be a model citizen, Lilo tries to have him be Elvis. And the most jarring thing in this entire film that I've seen so far is all of the animation and just a picture of real Elvis. I do not like seeing a picture of real Elvis in my Disney film. This is not an episode of Uncle Grandpa. Elvis is not a hyper-realistic flying tiger, thank you very much. Give me cartoon Elvis or give me nothing. And throughout these scenes in the movie, you see Nani going from job to find work, but you also see Cobra Bubbles in the background go from job to job, again, because Cobra Bubbles is not just a normal child protective service agent. He's here because Stitch is here, and Jumba's here, and Pleakley is here, and Cobra Bubbles is definitely confirming the fact that he's killed a man. And when we finally get our cartoon version of Elvis, Stitch is on the beach jamming out, and this dude still has his mint chocolate chip ice cream cone, and it falls to the ground. Dude, get a bowl. Every time you get a cone, you lose your ice cream, dude. Bowls were invented sometime in BC. Jeez, get a bowl. And after a wonderful song, Jumba comes and tries to drown Stitch, and in turn drowns Lilo and Stitch. And after a quick fight, Nani ends up saving Lilo from drowning, and David ends up saving Stitch from drowning and gives him the hardest 30-second guilt trip that you can give a main character in a movie, which just hits you right in the feels. And Cobra Bubbles is a bit wrong in this situation, because Nani is trying. She's trying so hard. Nani just recently lost her job, and she definitely has some money still to take care of Lilo. They still have the house. They're not losing. There's still food on the table. I feel like he's trying to get some government kickback or something because there's not enough kids in the foster care system already. But that's besides the point. We move on. We move on. And Lilo and Nani have their last emotional goodbyes, as Lilo also has her emotional goodbye with Stitch. And we confirm, yes, their parents did die in a car crash. A rainy car crash. Probably a DUI, but that's just my guess. I don't know what it is about this movie, but Stitch is like really attached to this ugly duckling story. It just really keeps hitting him deep in his feels, and I think that's really precious and really adorable. And you know Lilo hit Stitch right in the feels as he was waiting in the middle of nowhere for his family, and his family showed up to commit war crimes. But he runs away from Jumba as Jumba doesn't really understand Stitch's capacity for growth and change, as we see Nani prepared to just run away from the problem, except the fact that everything has to go bad. But who comes to save the day but David? Because David's always here to save the day. Because remember, ladies, anytime you have a problem, don't expect a man to be there for you. You should try to figure it out yourself sometimes. But sometimes you will have a man there to help you, and sometimes that's okay to take the help, even if you don't need it. But help is there, and that's nice. As Jumba hunts down Stitch as they go into Lilo's house, and he recognizes the Elvis song. Why would he recognize the Elvis song? It ain't nothing but a hound dog. And that made me start to think that maybe Elvis isn't even human. I'm starting to think Elvis is an alien. Started to make his break in the 1950s. There's a famous alien event that happened in the 1940s here in the United States of America in Roswell, New Mexico. Who says that Elvis was even born into this world? Maybe he crash landed there in Roswell and saw the best way to make his way in this world with his natural alien talents was be the best dang rock and roll star he could be. Change humanity onto the right path, and we see that he didn't put us on the right path, but he did make some really good music. All I'm saying is Elvis wasn't human, and that's why Jumba knows him. And after Cobra Bubbles starts to take Lilo away, Lilo sprints, obviously away from Cobra Bubbles, and right into the capable hands of Gantu. And Gantu really shows the incompetence of Jumba and Pleakley because he just shot a net, and the net worked. Jumba couldn't think of a net. It's super simple. You catch fish with a net, catch birds with a net, you can catch people with nets. Why didn't they just think to put the net over the alien? Extremely intelligent scientist doesn't think of nets. And after Gontu captures Lilo and Stitch, Stitch escapes because capsules are not as good as Stitch, and he gets captured by Jumba and gives him the old razzle-dazzle in the alien tongue, and now they're on a rescue mission because, remember, Ohana means family, and family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten. And then there's a nice space chase to go rescue Lilo, but guess who's there by himself on a nice relaxing chair listening to the radio trying to eat his mint chocolate chip ice cream on a cone. It's the same dude. Get a bowl, brother. You're not responsible enough to handle the power of the mint chocolate chip ice cream cone. Stop trying to eat mint chocolate chip ice cream in public at this point, man. I don't even think the bowl's gonna help you. Just eat it at home. It's cheaper at home. Try starting with a different flavor. Maybe mint chocolate chip's just not the flavor for you. Maybe try vanilla. I know it sucks, but sometimes we can't have the things we want. You just can't handle the power within. You cannot handle the mint chocolate chip ice cream. It's fine, man. We all have problems. We all have things in life that we need to work out, and your thing is you just can't eat mint chocolate chip ice cream in public, man. You just can't do it. Just get a bowl and eat it at home for everybody's sanity. We are tired of seeing you suffer, my man. And as Stitch gets launched off the spaceship, he lands right next to the frog that he met at the beginning of his journey, and he's unconscious, and the homie that is the frog wakes Stitch up and points at the truck coming at his way, and Stitch saves the frog's life because Stitch has the capacity to grow now thanks to sweet old Lilo. And then Stitch takes the flammable gas truck to the top of a volcano and pulls a Joseph Joestar, because even Lilo and Stitch has a JoJo reference, and crashes it straight into the spaceship and grabs Lilo and saves the day because, again, Ohana means family, and family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten. And we see now at the end of the movie that Stitch gets to stay with his new home and his new family because aliens are all about rules. Cobra Bubble saved the planet by convincing an alien race that mosquitoes were an endangered species. And lastly, that stealing is worse than property damage, potential injuries, potential lives lost, damage to the environment. There's nothing worse in the United States of America that you can do than dare to steal someone's property. It's the worst thing that you can do to anyone. If you dare take my Coca-Cola, a perfectly reasonable thing for me to do would be to take your hands. It's the Hanamari code. Then eye for an eye. You take my Coke, I take your hand. You take my plate, I take your shin. It's all equal in the eyes. It's all equal in the eyes of the space deities. Stealing is clearly the worst thing you can do to someone. It makes no sense. But they needed a happy little bow to put at the end of the rainbow and sunshine that is the Disney film. All I'm saying is don't steal my stuff. It's not gonna end well for you, spaceman. And that was Spiral Tree Entertainment with just another review of Lilo and Stitch. If you like this review, hit us with a like down below. Go check out what we're doing on the gaming channel. Give us a like, comment down below a movie you'd like us to watch, and we will see you next time.